Can first overall pick Caleb Williams guide the Chicago Bears to the playoffs in his rookie campaign? Find out in this first edition of the 2024 NFL Season Outlook. Hello, everybody. I'm Chase Younts. I'm a broadcaster, podcaster, and journalist at the University of Cincinnati entering my senior year. I love the NFL a lot, so much to the fact that I want to break down every single roster and team and their outlook going into 2024. And with the first team on our docket, who better to start with the team that had the first overall pick in the Chicago Bears? They're going to be fun to watch this year. 2023 was an interesting year for the Chicago Bears. They started off 2-7. They had a lot of quarterback shuffle. They finished the season off 5-3, got a little momentum down the stretch, and they had a record of 7-10 overall. The offseason couldn't come quick enough for Chicago and general manager Ryan Poles, because once it did, they attacked. They went on ahead and they traded Justin Fields over to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they had an open wound at quarterback, which they were able to fill pretty quickly once the draft rolled around. They traded for Keenan Allen from the Los Angeles Chargers, very good value pickup in a veteran receiver. They also signed running back DeAndre Swift and Kevin Byard, both from the Philadelphia Eagles. And then, obviously, they drafted Caleb Williams, number 1 overall, and they also got him a weapon at number 9 in Rome Odunze. This Bears team looks completely different from last year, and that's a fact. When looking at this Bears offense, they're bringing in Shane Waldron from the Seattle Seahawks, who was their coordinator from 2021 through the 2023 season. And a big emphasis for him and his offenses is running the football. They normally succeed when that offense is rushing for about 120 yards a game, which has been the case the last couple of years. A team that's been over 500, an offense that has been a pretty well-oiled machine. Now you're looking at this group. So Caleb Williams at quarterback, DeAndre Swift with fresh legs at running back, and then the receiving core of DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, and Keenan Allen. How I would balance these guys is DJ Moore is that explosive receiver. One of the few bright spots on the Bears offense this past season. Had well over 1,000 yards. He was a great addition from the Bears in that trade that they made when they had number 1 overall pick in 2023. And DJ Moore is going to be that guy to rely on over the course of time. Keenan Allen, possession receiver. He's been in the league for such a long time. They're probably going to move him into the slot. Limit the amount of hits that he takes and everything, but he's going to be Caleb Williams' best friend. Rome Odunze came from Washington, deep threat, big guy, all-world receiver. He's going to make an immediate impact. This entire core as a group, it's going to be very exciting because you have all of the different aspects and philosophies that you would want. And then you're looking overall at Caleb's progression, because Caleb overall, he holds the ball for quite a while, honestly. And if he's able to get through his reads a bit quicker and make life a little bit easier, and also Shane Waldron makes his life a little bit easier, then they'll be able to be on the same page. But when plays break down and everything, you can count on Caleb Williams to extend the play, get out of the pocket, and make some explosive throws down the field to any of these 3 receivers. If Chicago's able to mesh, especially with that offensive line, that's a younger offensive line, but if they're able to come together and protect their young quarterback, the number 1 overall pick, this offense is going to be very, very fun to watch. So defensively, Chicago brings in a new defensive coordinator in Eric Washington, ironically, last coach with the Washington Commanders. So he'll be reunited with pass rusher Montez Sweat, who, when he was traded midseason to Chicago in 2023, really unlocked this Bears defense. Great midseason acquisition. The Bears' defensive ability, they weren't really great at stopping the pass down the field, but they could get after the quarterback, and they were able to stop the run. And big part because of TJ Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds, the 2 new linebackers from last year that stepped in, both 100-plus tackle guys who made a really big impact. They only gave about 87 yards rushing a game. And having Montez Sweat as that chess piece up front to rush the passer is just huge, and it just gives the Bears another element on defense. Resigning Jalen Johnson was a priority. It was a huge priority, and they got him. 36 tackles, 4 interceptions, 10 passes defended. Everybody was excited about him. There were so many people on the market that wanted Jalen Johnson, but he went back to Chicago, and I know a lot of Bears fans had a sigh of relief right there. And again, with Jalen Johnson's ability, it opens up more for his counterpart on the other side, Tyreek Stevenson. And then the back end of Jaquan Brisker and Kevin Byard III. This Bears secondary is slept on a bit, And if they're able with that secondary to mesh with the pass rush and they're able to stop the run up front with the front seven, Chicago's defense is going to take another step, just like their offense will as well. And again, it could marry a pretty good football team together up north. Now, when looking at Chicago's schedule, they play a couple tough games out of the first six. They're looking at the Colts, the Texans, the Rams, the Jaguars. It's going to be pretty tough to start off, but then they have a stretch where, looks like the Commanders, the Cardinals, the Patriots, and hopefully they're able to get some stuff going in that regard. But the game that you should be circling to start off Sunday Night Football, week 2, Bears at Texans, Caleb Williams versus CJ Stroud. The collectibles of these young quarterbacks along with their weapons is just going to be a fun thing to watch in primetime. And it can show a lot of what the Bears could be going forward and what type of progress they need to make. They don't play a divisional opponent until week 11 against the Green Bay Packers. And then obviously they have the Packers, Vikings, and Lions twice in the last 6-7 weeks of the season. So things will be tough, but it'll allow Caleb Williams and the Bears to really get their feet wet and see what they have to do and what they need to improve on and try to get in the midseason form and push later on down the season. With the Bears, I'm looking at when you're looking at ceiling and floor and projection and everything else, I'm not going to make a hard prediction on them, but I would say the ceiling with this team, 10-7. I think that's a fair one. I think there's a lot of teams, a lot of matchups that can be pretty favorable if the Bears are able to mesh quicker. When you're looking at the floor, I'm looking around 6 wins. They were 7-10 last year. If they took one step back because of a rookie quarterback and some other stuff, that could happen. But if you're going right into the middle, 8-9 would be the projection at this point. It could be 8-9, it could be 9-8, just right around that 500 mark. And that could be good enough to make the playoffs in the NFC. If the Bears make that next step and they look better on offense and the defense is able to turn it up a notch, this Bears team could find themselves in the playoffs. And the NFC North, being one of the toughest divisions in football, could see 3 teams in there. And Chicago definitely could be that 3rd team. They're going to be fun to watch. I'm excited to see what Caleb Williams does in his rookie season, and we're going to see a lot of them on prime time, especially out of the gate.